But before I get to your question, just very briefly, my 5 dinars on the situation, because that's what everyone is doing this day and age. And I'm reminded of HBO series that some of you might have watched, Chernobyl. Not saying that we have a Chernobyl here, but you surely remember the sentence, not great, not terrible. So that's the situation in the Western Balkans. And that's likely to be the situation in the decade to come. So Minister Osmani actually showed us the bright side, that the region is in the same boat with the EU, it's integrated, people travel freely, there's trade, things are happening. But at the same time, let's not fool ourselves, there is enlargement fatigue. Mr. Starovic referred to. And I must submit to you, the situation is tolerable to both sides. So if you are Emmanuel Macron, you might ask yourself, what is the big deal? I mean, there's some tensions, there is trouble, but it's not that the region will explode. The situation, the status quo is sustainable, and it's controlled tension at the end of the day. The bad part, and I'm coming to your question, is that regional elites are becoming comfortable with the status quo as well. They know that accession is not coming before 2030, so we're looking at least 1 decade, probably more. And the question for them, for Mr. Zaev, Mr. Vucic, and the rest, is how you go by doing your business, how you win the next election, how you deliver to citizens. And there is scope. I mean, and that's how foreign actors come into the picture, because they offer some benefits. And it's always a two-way street. We sometimes tend to think about the Russians, the Chinese, the Turks as pushing their agenda, which is correct. But also there's a lot of demand in this region. They're here for a reason. Leaders are pragmatic. They want to maximize their opportunities, their power to deliver to their citizens. And they do their best in terms of attracting investment just to stay in power and gathering political support, whether from the inside or the outside. Sometimes we welcome the initiatives. The Open Balkan initiative is such an example. Sometimes we have second thoughts about it because, of course, outsiders come with strings attached. But my message is that this situation that we have now, and we tend to think about as an interregnum, tends to be very stable. It's an equilibrium that can persist. And it has some negative aspects as well, because we don't see that much gains in terms of democratic consolidation. Some countries have gone backwards, rule of law is stagnant, and the whole transformative agenda that the EU put forward in Thessaloniki is not going anywhere, at least for the most part. Now, I don't want to be the doom and gloom messenger here, and of course Ambassador Burns gave us some good examples about things can be improved incrementally, be it the green agenda, customs, governance reform, and there are some good examples as well. But I think fundamentally, if there's change in the region, it has to come from within the countries themselves, from civil society, from domestic politics. There has to be critical mass calling for governance reform, for more responsive government, for more accountable and transparent government as well. It won't be solved by Brussels. And that's the positive example of North Macedonia, what happened here with a change of government. Also, Montenegro might be a good example. Minister Bazovic referred to government change. There is some pro-democratic momentum in the region, so we shouldn't just go for the doom and gloom picture. It's not all terrible. There's some green shoots. And this non-enlargement scenario, we just need to adapt and to cope with it and do our best in the situation. So let me stop here and leave some time for discussion.